Are we live? We're live. And the lighting is wonderful. No, it's not. Let's kill that. There we go. How we all doing, folks? Look, a few things happened this afternoon. Things don't always go as planned. I had something really fun planned for us for this Sunday. You know, it's a rainy, gloomy Sunday here in upstate New York. Nah, it doesn't work. How about this? That's too bright. But I made a very stupid mistake. The headline of this video, first of all, was supposed to be the Yankee Candle soundtrack. The soundtrack, or the Yankee Candle album. And people would be like, what the heck are you talking about, right? Well, I had something to share with you. This was a product that was released in 2004. I'll show you it in a second. It was a CD that went along with a fragrance. The problem is the fragrance was retired back also in 2004. So I had to search, look over the internet, hunt down that fragrance. I didn't buy the candle. I found the tarts. So I figured what we'd do was play this CD by the same name, Splash of Rain. Right? That was the name of the candle, Splash of Rain. You pop this CD in the boombox, right? And you listen along and have your ears take part in the aromatic experience. The problem was I was cleaning my office. The problem is I was cleaning my office a few days ago, and I had a package with those tarts in them. And I specifically thought it was something else, and guess what happened? I threw it out. I threw out the tarts. That's what I get for not looking inside the package before throwing things out. I think that's what happened. Otherwise, the tarts are lost. So, man, talk about being all set for Smell It Sunday, and then things go awry. But I have plenty of other things to talk about, plenty of other things to show you, and I'm sure we'll have a wonderful time. I just want to give everyone a chance to get over to the right channel, because I had Rachel tell everybody on our Facebook fan group that we were going to start today on the main channel, the Candle Enthusiast channel. And without the tarts, I did not want to do that. Okay, got a lot of people commenting on other videos at the moment. All right. So let's pull us up. Probably confusing so many people right now. So I'm still gonna play the CD, because you know what? I've had this thing sitting around for so long. I'm just curious to know what is on it. And I mean, I don't know if it's music. I don't know if it's like ambient sounds. But I have to find out. Aromatically speaking. So how's everybody's Sunday? Is everyone set? Everyone prepared for Valentine's Day? And once again, I want to apologize for the setting. This is not the most gorgeous thing I'm sure you've ever seen, but I still am filming a few things where I need a black backdrop. And unfortunately, I don't have a studio. I do have an office, though. I do have an office. So this kind of doubles as my studio. Pull myself up here, and here we go. Angie says, what's a CD? I know, right? Yeah, so did everybody... Okay, so people are starting to trickle in now. Did everyone get the story? I'm gonna repeat it real quick. You know, as I was researching a long time ago, I'm always trying to find fun things, Yankee Candle related. I came across a CD that had the name Yankee Candle on it. It was actually just off of eBay. It wasn't even expensive, and it had the look of the label circa early 2000s, and the CD's 2004, from 2004, so I'm guessing, or it's saying 2005. I apologize. So I'm guessing that's when this was released, and Splash of Rain was a fragrance, was retired. I bought 3 tarts for us to use in the aroma prison today. I accidentally threw out the tarts while I was cleaning my office. But that doesn't mean that we can't listen to this CD. Lots of snow. Ready to fast all day on Valentine's Day since it's Ash Wednesday. Uh-oh. All right. So I do have a boombox, right? Is that, they're still called boomboxes, right? A CD player. I do own some CDs. You know, there's a few select CDs that I don't think I'll ever get rid of. Did you hear that Best Buy is no longer going to carry CDs? Isn't that insane? I mean, it's one thing for, you know, CDs to be a thing of the past, but to not actually see them in stores, that's kind of crazy. The good news is LPs are making the comeback, right? All right, so the CD is loaded in the boombox. I applied a little pressure so it popped on that little cylindrical thing. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm making fun of CDs, even though I listen to CDs for the majority of my life. All right, so apparently there's a lot of tracks on here. 10 tracks. The first one is called Splash of Rain. How appropriate, because that's the name of the CD, Splash of Rain. So let's hit play. Now, this may or may not be copyrighted materials. So we're gonna have to play this by ear. Play. We got the mega bass on. Mega bass is on. Okay, so we got rain. Can you guys hear this? We got rain. Splash of rain. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. You can't deny it. Oh. Whoa. Well, that's relaxing. It's also kind of sad. You know, I'm thinking about prancing around in the rain, splashing around in my boots. This is kind of like you've witnessed a bird dying in the forest with the rain falling. It's just way too sad for me right now, and it's skipping. Let's skip ahead. Let's see if we can pick it up a little bit. Track number 2. It's called Spring Breeze. We have some wind. Are you guys falling asleep? Are you getting into a comfortable space, a vulnerable space, where you can just let all of your worries wash away? I'm not making fun of this CD. I think this is an amazing idea. I'm actually would love to see, I'm not feeling this tune. I would love to see Yankee Candle continue to do things like this. I don't think an ambient track CD with some of this kind of soft spa-like music is gonna cut it. I think you gotta make it a little bit more exciting than that. And especially with today, with things like YouTube, you could find tracks like this all over the place. The thing is, I really wanted to know Does anybody know what this candle smelled like? Splash of rain. I received the tarts and I didn't even smell them. And I threw them away. I'm hoping I didn't. I'm hoping I just lost them. But I remember throwing away a package, and I'm pretty sure I know what was inside that package. Let's lower the volume here. What are you guys saying? What are we doing for Valentine's Day? We talking about Blockbuster? I still have my Blockbuster membership card in my wallet. Anybody have that? I still do. I'm not kidding. You know, as long as we're talking about Blockbuster, I really do miss Blockbuster, right? I mean, if you guys are talking about that, can I chime in for a second? Because Blockbuster wasn't just a movie rental store, like a place where you go to rent a movie. I mean, that's precisely what it was. But it was actually a thing to do. Like a reason to get out of the house, go do something. Like, it was a great, like date night kind of thing to do, wasn't it? Go to Blockbuster, walk around, read the backs of all of the movies, laugh at all of the cheesy horror films and romantic comedies. I was known to spend like an hour or two in Blockbuster. Yeah, this music, I don't think this was a success for the Yankee Candle Company. Hollywood Video. I remember Hollywood Video. What about Video Treats? Does anybody remember Video Treats? Monica Carlson. Monica, she's my sister-in-law. Of course, you guys know this. And when she says we, she's talking about herself and my brother. Ow. They're at the Hollywood Museum. The Hollywood Museum, like the Hollywood Wax Museum, Monica? Looking at the Batman exhibition. Well, that's super cool. Monica and my brother, they live in Burbank. So they're apparently hanging out in Hollywood Boulevard right now, going to wax museums. It's rainy and cold and humid here. It's a nightmare. Yeah, this track is like getting a little like a Pink Floyd vibe on this one. Like Division Bell era. We just need some like sounds of whales. Alright, so since this was not... I'm gonna have to turn this into something, because man, I've never heard anybody talk about this. I need to document this in a certain way. I didn't want to do it on a live, but I figured it'd be a perfect thing to do on Sunday. I'm gonna have to reschedule this. Instead, I'm gonna find some goodies, things to show you, maybe some things in my collection that I've never shared before. Something to stir up some conversations. I got a box of candles. What is inside this box? We're gonna have to find out. Monica says they have movie props here, like the Batmobile. Monica, so it's not the Wax Museum. What Hollywood Museum? Like where in Hollywood are you? Or are you not in Hollywood? Are you in the Burbank area? Gotta help us out here. You see, Hollywood Museum, that could mean a lot of things. So I finally did it last week. I filmed my Which City Wicks Christmas evaluations. I put these off because Liz and I from Which City Wicks, we discussed, like, this was not something we wanted to rush and do. She wasn't trying to, like, make a quick last dash for sales before the holidays. But we did want to have some videos up on her Christmas products. So I did my in-depth thing. I did my breakdown of Krampus. Krampus being the antithesis of of Santa Claus. I've showed you these before. Christmas morning. Morning. Look at the spelling there. That's not the morning that we associate with Christmas normally. And then she has the very festive, very heartwarming, seemingly not normal, but more of what we come to expect with Christmas candle collection. Merry Mistletoe, Christmas Hearth, not to be confused with Hearth, her very popular candle. Merry Mistletoe, Eggnog. I only had eggnog in the tin, which is a shame because, man, that one was rocking and rolling. I could have talked about that one all day. Blue Spruce. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then there's one I'm forgetting. Peppermint Bark. You guys know me. You know how much I love peppermint bark. But what's coming up soon, I got more Witch City Wicks candles in here. Eric knows all about this one. I'm finally starting to place some purchases with Werther and Gray. This is one that I've had for over a year. It's called Witch Hunt. A lot of these sound spooky though. So I'm gonna mix it up, and we're gonna be soon focusing on a candle company that I've been anticipating for a while. I had the pleasure to meet with the owners and the candle makers of Cottage Wicks. And look at the name of this one, Mystic Forest. Come on, folks. First of all, look at the vessel. Yeah, a mason jar, but simplicity is where it is sometimes, right? We have the batch number here written by hand. We have the fragrance notes. We have this really cool tattered and weathered lid. And then take a look at the top there. Yes, we have botanicals, we have herbs, they put a whole bunch of assorted goodies on top of their wax. And you know what? I'm not used to that. I don't know how that works. Right here, it looks like we're looking at some lavender and some form of rose petal. But I need to, that will be my next. As soon as I get those Witch City Wicks videos up, which will be soon, I'm going to edit it right after we wrap up today. Then I have to go film those Cottage Wick candles. All right, newcomers. Do we have newcomers? Thank you. Okay, look, no, we can show that one. All right, so let me address some of these comments here because I really haven't been talking to you guys. First of all, hello everyone, if I haven't said hello to you personally. Eric, yes, we need to hear your feedback on the Witch City Wicks Christmas candles. Which was your favorite? Or which is the one that you would recommend to most? Jackie Brown, hello everyone, I'm steam mopping like a madwoman so I could hurry on here. Oh wow, well thank you for being very speedy for Smell It Sunday, even though I was running a few minutes late myself. Looks like a light bulb. I like it. I don't know what we're talking about. Industrial wasteland. What are we referring to? Oh, and I was tuning in, but I could not get away from what I was doing. I have a large jar of Splash of Rain, never lit. So, not to put you on the spot, but can you give us a few adjectives, a few words that you might use to describe that fragrance to us? Whether it be, you know, you can use things, literal things like flowers, florals, sea breeze, sea air. We could say fresh cut rain. You could say daisies. Or you can use a little bit more emotional things like spring showers. You know, makes you think of the beginning of the baseball season. You know, things like that. Like, give us something to work off. What does splash of rain smell like? Don't be sad, Rebecca, that you are late. Apparently you haven't heard about the goof I made already today. It's morning in California. Angie, that's not where you are though, right? Nikki's in the house. Nikki says Christmas morning is awesome. I agree. And what I like about Christmas morning is you don't necessarily have to burn it for Christmas. You can burn that before or well into the winter season, if you ask me. Bum, bum, bum. The candle, the jar lid. The candle you just showed, the jar lid, look like a light bulb. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, like the... I see, yeah, I see exactly what you mean. Like, did I lose it? Kind of looks like a light bulb, right? Like you would screw it in like this. Oh yeah, totally. I see exactly what you mean. Huh. You know, I never thought of that. They could probably do something with that aesthetic. And Nikki asked, has anyone gotten their Witch City Wicks Valentine's Day candles yet? She got the Tainted Love, and it's lovely. I haven't even got the Valentine's Day candles this year. So I'm excited to hear all of your feedback on those candles. Hello, Leslie. Thank you for joining us. Tainted Love. I've been burning Tainted Love since yesterday. I love that too. Very nice. Splash of Rain was not really like anything I can think of in the lineup now. Fresh, cool, fresh air. Touch of floral. That's kind of what I was expecting, Laura. You know, I mean, I'm thinking maybe like some soft beach flowers, jasmine, lavender, geranium. Nah, geranium's not a beach flower, but sometimes that's used in there to give it a little bit of a rose effect. And with citrus to brighten it up, give it that freshly laundered linen aroma. Oh. And here we got the description here. It is creamy, vanilla, and a little soapy, like detergent, but more like dryer sheet. It does smell somewhat wet, like you're taking, like my take on cherries on snow. Interesting. Well, that sounds very intriguing now. That sounds very intriguing. Creamy, vanilla, a little soapy, detergent or dryer sheet, and my take on cherries and snow. She's referring to my take on cherries on snow is that it's so weird when you smell it. It smells like you're smelling ice. There's something there that portrays or mimics the experience of smelling ice. I don't know what it is. I really do wish I knew. It's not necessarily a cooling sensation. It just has that smell of like a block of ice. Black Valentine. And I think Liz, don't quote me on this, I think Liz may have retired the Black Apple from the Black collection. So it's unfortunate, because if it is retired, I have it and I've never reviewed it. It's sitting right there on my Witch City Wicks shelf. And That's a shame, but we'll have to break that out one of these days. Ozone. So what is the smell of ozone? Seriously. What does ozone smell like? Give me a few adjectives, everybody. Because we use that word all the time. We use it all the time. And who uses it more than us? The candle industry, the fragrance industry. They say ozone. But what does ozone really mean? And you can't say fresh air. Because if you're going to say fresh air, you got to tell me what fresh air smells like too. What does ozone smell like? It's an interesting question, isn't it? Industrial Wasteland says it smells like roses and a little orange. Orange and rose. That's not a bad thing at all. Mentioned there's yes, and Angie, chlorine. So isn't that interesting? I bet you when a lot of us say, or let's not pick on us, let's pick on like the candle industry. When they say this has an ozone smell, I don't think we're talking about chlorine, right? Ozone, there is a specific smell. I'm not a chemical engineer. Angie happens to be though. I can't explain what the occurrence is, but it does have this vague sense of chlorine, like that smell after a thunderstorm. But usually when we use the word ozone, I think people are talking about like outside, the air, the atmosphere. Brian says, I've never been to the ozone, so I don't know. It's a good point. A little salty with florals. Electricity, yes, electricity. Hence the thunderstorm. Very good. Melanie. Electric happiness. That's it. Love that name. A little grassy too. So you see all of these descriptors that we use when using the word ozone. So it's not a pet peeve that I have. I like the word ozone. I use it myself. But it's one of those things where I feel like instead of having ozone on a candle, like if they put ozone on something, I'd rather them explain a little bit more in depth what they mean by ozone. This is interesting. Amanda says, I think it's like umami, but for fragrance. It adds a fullness, a viscosity to the air which otherwise wouldn't smell like much. That's a very interesting take. I love all of those words. She got me with umami, and I love the word viscosity. It's a good word for thickness, richness. What else do I have to show you as we talk? I got some goodies here. I broke a few things out from the collection. July 1995. This is a postcard, and on the back it says, the barn-like exterior of the Bavarian Christmas village hides a world of holiday alpine delights at the Yankee Candle Company. Yankee Candle Company, center of New England. Ooh, not the center of the universe. Center of New England. They changed that. Route 5 and 10, South Deerfield, Massachusetts. Open daily. This is going to date back to 1995. This is when they had already put the addition onto the flagship building. But the full Bavarian village, as we know it today, was not constructed. And we can tell because that barn door right there is open. That used to be open. A little wagon would be displayed inside, where today, if you were to walk in through those doors, you'd be walking right into the village room, the room with all of the little Christmas villages. So all of that is going to be blocked off these days. And when South Deerfield was originally built, it was, for the most part, just this side of the building and this kind of barn-like exterior, and all of this was not even there. In fact, this is where Mike Kittredge used to park his car. I wish I knew what car that was, but there's a photograph that I think is lovely of the whole Yankee Candle Village at night, empty, covered in snow, and just Mike Kittredge's car parked right there. It looked like an Oldsmobile or something. So I'm not quite sure when this addition was built. I'm guessing that would have been the early 90s. And on the building it says Yankee Candle Company, Center of New England. So that would eventually be changed to Center of the Universe. And now it says nothing. They took the sign down completely. Just says Yankee Candle. Da, 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 da. I think is it raised off the ground or is it an illusion? Are you talking about the photograph? Let me get a nice, you know what, let me take it out of this sheath. Is that what you call it, a sheath? Hold it up like this if that's a little bit better. So this way you guys can get a good gander of what it looked like. So whenever you see me go to the Yankee Candle Village, this is where I park my car, right there. I'm always the first one there. I park my car right there. You enter right through those main doors. Honestly, it looks very similar. They added a little bit, since 1995, they added a little bit of a walkway. Other than that, I think those might even be the trees that are still there, those little bushes. I don't know why my voice went up so high. Have you ever seen the Yankee Candle Cookbook? Laura, no, that's something I would love to see. In fact, I will write that down because I think that would be a fun thing to do on a Smell It Sunday, is to make something from the Yankee Candle Cookbook. And maybe you guys can make a couple of the recipes and send in pictures, and then I can share the pictures with everybody of all the goodies that you've made. Yes, Industrial Wasteland, Chris, Mike Kittredge has an amazing car collection. He does. I don't know where the cars reside today. I mean, they're probably just at his home. Mike Kittredge the third, Mick, as they call him. He recently, not recently, I think it was about a year ago, he was posting pictures and videos of his drone in flight. And he was flying his drone, and I think he was flying it over, like the family household, like the Kittredge's household, because it was like Christmas. I don't know if you got it as a Christmas gift or what, but man, that place was like a campus. I don't know if that's his house, his father's house, but someone is living in style. Cheryl Douglas says, Shane, are you going to review the Color Play collection? I don't think so, Cheryl. I think that's something that, I mean, I won't mind going to Target and giving them a sniff, but you know, I want to reserve my time for in-depth analysis for other candles, other than just Yankee candles. I try to cover the the big ones, you know, the spring releases, you know, of course the summer and the fall, the winter, Christmas, holidays. But all of these little collections that come out, especially since there's so many of them now, Hallmark, Target, and the outlets have their own exclusive candles, that it would be very hard for me to keep up with that. Unless, I posted a video the other day of me at Kohl's. I literally just walked in Kohl's. I took my phone, I put it on the shelf, and without cutting, I just rapid fire, off the cuff, did a quick first impression, a first pass of all of the candles. And that's what I posted. And a lot of you guys responded to that, like in a positive way. And I was like, wow, you know, maybe I should do this more often. But see, if I'm doing like in-depth analysis on candles, that first pass that I did on video, on that Kohl's video, would just be the beginning. The first pass is the initial impression, and then you got to go in and really start to dig deeper, try to let those top notes disappear, figure out what's at the base, the core of the candle, and then of course let your imagination let loose. See where those candles take you, if anywhere. Those were very simplistic candles. Not, you know, simplicity, you know what I say, is not a bad thing. Those are very simplistic candles. So if I were to do that at like Bath and Body Works, I could imagine that would be very hard, because we'd be dealing with a far more complex candle. Good. Nicole, that's what I was going to do. I was going to look on eBay or Amazon now that I know that there's a cookbook. I should have known better. I will try to find it for us. This postcard, it must have been eBay, Nancy. I have a bunch of this stuff laying around. I can't, honestly, I don't know if this is a new one or an old one, because I do have a few of them. Of course, they're not out, but I do have this. Look at that. Now, that's not going to be as old, but that's still pretty old. I mean, this is weathered with age. It is crackling a little bit right there. This is a Yankee Candle matchbook. Exciting stuff, right? To enjoy candles safely, look inside. Okay. It really has the same things that are written on the bottom of the candle. Honestly, do you know what I was just about to do? I was going to take this lit candle and flip it around to look on the bottom side and read the label when it's lit. I mean, I knew it was lit, but I was still going to flip it around. That would have been terrible. Yeah, I had a bunch of these. I'm trying to find stuff like this, to get things like this up on eBay so that you guys can start your own collections. And this is the kind of stuff for me that is fun, is collectible. That and older candles. The more I think about it, the more I'm starting to enjoy the idea of black bands. I think I'm gonna start making that a big topic, at least making a big topic on the candle enthusiasts, that maybe we shouldn't pass off the idea of old candles being garbage. Maybe we should look at them as fine wine. They change with age, or they were made differently, different recipes. People are always saying that Yankee Candle, they don't perform the way they used to. Well, maybe these black band candles are a little bit more valuable than we give them credit for, even though they go for astronomical prices on eBay. I don't recommend buying them off of eBay. You're just gonna get not ripped off. I mean, they're worth the money, but sometimes you'll find candles that are lit and you don't know if they've been sitting in sunlight for 20 years or what. But here's a spiced pumpkin. this little jar, 3.7 ounce spiced pumpkin. It's going to be a black band. You know, unfortunately, you cannot tell the year of these black bands, but black bands without the white border on the bottom would have been somewhere between 1995 to 2004. So, for example, if I grab spiced pumpkin, this is going to be a 2014, and let's say this is a 2000. Let's just say it. Let's see what kind of differences I get off the nose. Let me smell this one first. Oh, and Cheryl, about the color play collection, Doug from Philly Candleman has got that. He did cover those candles, so I would recommend you go over there, check him out, show him some support and love. And I think he made a couple of videos on them, in fact. That is a good smelling candle. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing any fantastic comments. A lot of you guys are just saying hello to each other. We've got a lot of people joining in. Got 36 people. Did you ever found out about my Holy Oak candle cruise bats? I'm going to have to get back to you. I'm doing a lot of work on. You put the pressure on. You put the pressure on because all you guys don't know, Cruise Bat has a pre-South Deerfield Yankee candle. Now, all of the things I've showed you are not even that, right? Their original storefront was, I shouldn't say storefront. Yeah, storefront was in Holy Oak. And I want to hunt down one of those candles, but better than that, I want to actually go to what exists of that original store. I want to go there, document it, share it with you guys. Maybe we'll do a live, maybe I'll do a short little in-betweens video on it. But I want to visit that store, but I also want to see if I can get in touch with a few people and maybe just get some interviews, because if nobody gets this information now about the history of Yankee Candle, it's just going to be lost forever. Yeah, so Mel brings up a good point. You don't know if they've been taken care of, right? The candles, if you buy them off of eBay. So you need to have a reputable source, plus a good thing to practice. Just like when you're smelling a wine and you're trying to find any flaws on a wine, if a wine has seen heat damage or the classic word corked, which it really isn't a thing, but if a wine smells off, it's not right. There's several things that you're looking for when you're smelling a wine. And when you're smelling a candle, it's kind of the same concept. You have to learn to recognize the smell of oxidation. Oxidation is going to tell you that it's been left like this, or it's been left like this. Or if you smell it and it's simply, there's just nothing there, there's going to be, I mean, I would imagine just extreme evaporation of a lot of the liquids. So it's almost like the candle has burned, it's volatilized. All of the fragrance has blown away. But this one, man, you know, this old spiced pumpkin is smelling like, I'm just gonna say it, like Teddy Grahams. It's got this sweeter spice than what I usually come to expect from spiced pumpkin. You know, like graham cracker, honey graham cracker, Teddy Grahams. Yeah. Well, there's no question. This one does paint a much larger picture. It's a much larger canvas of aromas. But there's something to be said about this little guy here. Very interesting. I'm smelling some age on this. Meaning I'm smelling it's old. Like the wax will start to take on a smell. I can't explain it from a chemistry standpoint. I hope to one day, but it's actually not an unpleasant smell. But when I go around to like old candle shops and they have candles that are just blatantly like 6-10 years old sitting on the shelves, you know, like thrift stores and things like that, and you smell them, you get that smell of like pipe tobacco or the inside of a bowl of a tobacco pipe. So something that happens with the wax, the paraffin, or the fragrance oils takes on that very specific smell, and that's how you can detect how old it is. This one's nice. 2014. Thanks. Someone said, I think it was Nancy, thumbs up. Thank you. If everyone could do that, I really appreciate it. Harvest. Angie says, Chris, I really like Harvest. It's a unique scent. So, yes. These, I mean, if somebody asked me, what are the two classic autumn Yankee candles? I mean, this is just my opinion. Everyone's going to have a different opinion. These are the two classics. And what's great about these, not only are they, I mean, fantastic candles, and that they stood the test of time. These came from the late 80s, and they're still around. I don't know if they've ever been taken out of circulation. I don't think they have. But what's even better than that is that these can be burned together. Burned side by side, or maybe one in one room, the other in the other room, and they work in perfect harmony. They have just about the same intensity. They're going to build on each other, just giving you a more in-depth experience. Or you could, if I can find it, if I find it, where is it? Come on now. There it is. I did a video a long time ago, and man, was it long and boring. And I wanted to erase it as soon as I posted it. But it was kind of a, you know, Harvest versus Spiced Pumpkin. And then I showed, you guys probably know about this candle, but if you don't, this is a candle called Pumpkin Patch. You can still find it at places like Home Goods, but it was in Yankee Candle retail for many years. This is simply going to be a swirl. It doesn't have the swirl effect, but it's going to be a mixture of both the Spiced Pumpkin and the Harvest candle. So I highly recommend, if you can get them this time of year too. Don't wait for Halloween. See if you can pick up a couple of these on eBay, or you know, be ready in August when Home Goods puts out their items. Oh man, I'm getting into the autumn state of mind. I gotta stop this. So what else do I have to show you guys? I have some other things. I got things to show. Oh, so the big question: which one is the preference? Spiced Pumpkin or Harvest? have to tell this story. You guys don't mind hearing a story, do you? Hold on, I want to read some of these questions. Or comments. I have some Merry Marshmallow votive candles that I ordered from Yankee Candle, and they smelled bad. They were almost yellow in color. It's funny. It's funny. There's something about Merry Marshmallow that, and other white paraffin candles that turn kind of funky. I got one right over there that's kind of has a few rust spots on it. It smells okay though. Sorry that happened to you, Nancy. Yes, Yankee Candle will be sure to fix those problems. And Nancy's sticking up for my very long and boring video. She goes, I love that video. It helped me decide which one I wanted to order, and it was Harvest. I know, I should. Okay, so when I was out in Napa Valley, I lived in Napa Valley for a long time, as you guys know, and I needed a Yankee Candle store. You know, there was just in Napa Valley. Napa Valley's not. It's not like you're just gonna drive around the corner and find like a grocery store. It's just not one of those places. If you live inside of Napa Valley, you have to go distances to find like the real world, real civilization. So up and over the mountain, I would have to go into Santa Rosa in the Sonoma County, in one of the shopping malls that they had a Yankee Candle storefront, and unfortunately has closed, I heard not too long ago. But there was a lovely woman there, Cheryl, who I used to just go there on my day off. And Cheryl and she was so excited about Yankee Candle. She was so passionate. We would go from candle to candle to candle and smell them and talk in depth about what we smelled. And I owe a large part of starting the Candle Enthusiast channel to Cheryl. I don't even know her last name, but it was her passion, it was her love of Yankee Candle that kind of made me not feel like a weirdo about it, that gave me the courage to, you know, eventually start the Candle Enthusiast. But she didn't always have the story, but she did tell me the story that at her mother's, I don't want to say deathbed, but when her mother was very ill, her favorite Yankee candles were Spice Pumpkin and Harvest. And what she would do is she would bring the little jars of Spice Pumpkin. She couldn't light them, but she'd bring little jars of Spice Pumpkin and Harvest and put them by her bedside. And she just had this wonderful way of explaining how she could, even though her mother couldn't speak, how she could see in her mother some form of ease. Attention had gone away, and it was very moving for Cheryl because she realized, you know, it's the aroma. You know, it's not the fact that she brought the candles. It's not the fact that they were her favorite candles. It's the fact that she's smelling those candles, and that aroma, the fragrance she was able to, the aroma was able to tap into her in a way that you couldn't with any other form of communication. And the way she told this story, and it just broke her down into tears, and I'm getting choked up just thinking about it, was just so eye-opening. And I'm like, you know, it's all of those little moments, all those little light bulb moments that make you realize that, you know, candles, again, you know, candles, they're you know, they're not just pretty things, right? They do have powers. All aromas have powers. They can communicate with us in ways that other forms of senses cannot. And maybe that was a long, drawn-out way of explaining that story, but it was one that was always meaningful to me. And guess what I bought that day? Harvest and Spice Pumpkin. And you guys are probably saying she was just a really good saleswoman. No. She was a really good saleswoman. But that story was certainly very truthful. Lots of stories like that. Lots of little light bulb stories that happened to me around those years that made me rethink what I was doing with my own life. Again, in California, working in the wine industry, living in a place where people, you know, spend thousands and thousands of dollars just to spend a couple days there. You think it would be like living in the lap of luxury. But there was a lot of these moments that made me say, you know what? This is not right. I have to, I know, I don't know what I have to do, but I know that this is not it. So I packed up my bags and I moved back east. I played around a little bit trying to find some ways of expressing my creativity. And then I stumbled on this vlogging thing. And not so much candle evaluations, but vlogging. I liked the idea of forcing myself to get on camera, talking to the camera. So I was doing that at Disney World. I was doing this in places, or Disneyland, doing this in places where I felt like I could tell stories, and it all snowballed from there. You're very welcome, Nancy. Yeah, you know, a lot of people always ask why I left the whole Napa Valley thing, or why, or if I still work in wine. And there's no like sad story there. It's just, you know, we change. I accomplished everything I needed to accomplish, and I needed to find another creative avenue. All right, let's get some more stuff. Well, one thing is, this candle was given to me, and it's in pretty rough shape. When I say rough shape, this is a red velvet cake. It's far too bright and overexposed for you to see it, but it's tunneling. So children at home, don't do this. Do not do this. But if you are an adult and you trust yourself, something you can do to help fix the tunneling situation. You know how much I love blowtorches, but if blowtorches are a little bit too hardcore for you, go to the gas station and you pick up one of these guys. I just broke it. That's how cheap it is. You can also use, what are they called? The things that you use in the kitchen for like creme brulee. It's just it's pretty much a small torch. And what you don't want to do is sit there and like get it on the glass and get the glass super hot. All you want to do, and you want to stay away from the label, of course, because you're going to melt the label, but you can just kind of warm it up a little bit by doing that so often. And trust me, you'll do a lot more than you think you're doing. This thing is a piece of garbage. But that's what I had planned to do, is just slowly add heat on the outside so that the wax that has never melted on the outside can incorporate itself into the center and hopefully homogenize the pool so you won't have any tunneling issues. Because this one, like I said, it's just in rough shape. I can't get it to burn right. So I recommend, you know what? I don't recommend one of these things, because look at this. I don't even think I've ever used this one. This is garbage. I love blowtorches, but like I said, dangerous stuff. But if you go to the kitchen supply part of, I don't know, any department store, you can get one of those kitchen ones. for a small amount of money. And again, you don't want to get the glass too hot. But if you can get it just warm enough where that wax will start to come in towards the center, it'll start to homogenize. And Jackie says, I use a nice cigar torch. There you go. So that's actually a really good idea. That never even dawned on me. Cigar torch. And I bet you that could potentially be a much cheaper option too if you don't get an expensive one. I use foil. I use cinefoil. I always, I call it black wrap. In the film world, it's called black wrap. It's essentially really, really thick tin foil, but it's matte black. If you go on Amazon, you can buy it. It's expensive, but it'll last you forever. Cinefoil. C-I-N-E-F-O-I-L. And you'll get a roll of it just like you would tin foil. And yeah, you can wrap it around your candle. It will stay put. It won't fall off or won't loosen up. You see, like I have like this really poor studio light here. It's not a studio light, it's a desk lamp light. And I have some tin foil on. It just doesn't want to stay on there. But cinefoil is so thick that it'll grab onto anything. And being that it's black, it'll absorb heat and keep the candle hot. And if you put cinefoil on this, which I might do if I have some, I don't think I have, I think it might be in my vehicle, but that would certainly help fix this problem. Now look at this, Nancy's burning her red velvet and her fractal hurricane right now. Hair dryer would definitely work. That's a good idea. Weird, but she didn't say weird. She goes, weird, but works though. Yeah, I mean, whatever works for you. What I encourage you with that though is that there's a difference between the wax that has already melted and solidified. Uh-oh. What happened to me? Am I still here? You guys can hear me? But I'm just not moving. This is wonderful. Well, this has suddenly just turned into a podcast. All right, let me try closing. I'm gonna close it down. But let me do this. And can you still hear me? Or did I lose you altogether now?